What is up, guys? Premiere is here. Now, I actually forgot to talk about this recently. It's something that had been ongoing in the wrestling community. The talks with regards to Bret Hart. Now, you guys know Bret Hart, how he is, how he talks, how he complains and all that. But this new interview kind of caused some issues with fans, seeing as they basically had enough of what the Hitman has to say. Now, the other day, I was on YouTube, right? I'm searching stuff, whatever. Then I come across this new interview of Bret the Hitman Hart. I'm like, why not? I do watch wrestling-related content on YouTube, but as regards to interviews that are an hour long, I haven't touched one of those in a long time. So I thought, why not? Let's watch this. And this interview was kind of outrageous. It's not like anything special, but it's outrageous when you actually watch it and then you see him randomly bury people, like throw shots at them, or he's just blunt. You know, the Hitman, he's straight as an arrow. Would I be like that? Hell no. Never. I can't be like that, but he is. Anyways, you watch the interview, it's the most Canadian thing. You hear how the wrestlers today, or something like that, right? They're talking. I feel like I'm in Canada watching this interview, and then the topic of modern day wrestlers comes up, I believe. Now, he randomly just complained about the modern day wrestlers. He said he doesn't watch wrestling much nowadays. He has an issue with the way wrestlers punch. And by the way, this is a common issue I've seen people have on the internet with regards to the way wrestlers punch. And it's actually true. A lot of the wrestlers from the current day don't exactly have great punches. And that's something that's not too important, but it's noticeable. It's like, at least make your stuff look real. You know, that's what the old timers say. And a lot of the modern fans have this issue where they don't like being told what to do or basically carry tradition. Me personally, I don't agree with that at all. I feel like you should preserve these kinds of small things, such as the punches, the way you convey a story and stuff like that. It's very important to have, because you can't just go out there and do near falls for the sake of it. You have to do some small stuff as well. But anyways, he's talking about how wrestlers' punches suck. And of all the names he pulled out Sheamus. He's like, Sheamus, his punches suck. And he's laughing about it casually. I'm like, damn, this guy is crazy. He does not give a damn. And I don't think Bret Hart is wrong in that regard, because the punches that wrestlers throw nowadays aren't exactly good. They're not. With Sheamus, though, I kind of feel like he shouldn't be the one to be called out in particular, because he's such a experienced veteran of the business, and he doesn't exactly have any huge weaknesses, barring the punch. There's this one point when somebody mentioned MJF, and he's like, who the hell is that? Even though he worked that segment with him. And that goes to show you that Bret Hart doesn't exactly watch modern day wrestling. He watches some people. Your name has to be like Roman Reigns, CM Punk. Yeah, he had nothing bad to say about these guys. But after the interview the next day, I go on the internet, I'm seeing people, they're hating on Bret Hart. They're like, oh, he sucks. What does he know? And that's the problem. Listen, a lot of people disregard a wrestler's opinion, a wrestler's ability, and his opinion when he says something they don't like. Now, I think Bret Hart is very blunt, at times rude. Well, not at times, a lot of the times rude. He is bitter, obviously. He is a mark for himself, as they say. But is he exactly wrong with some stuff? He misses the old wrestling. You know, they told stories in different ways as opposed to just throwing moves at each other. And you can have great matches with just moves, but it feels like a video game. He prided himself on realism. And yes, I thought he had a big ego during the interview. He was talking about how WrestleMania 13 was 95% him and 5% Steve Austin. I'm like, bro, come on. Can you give him a little more credit? But he's not wrong with some of the stuff he complains about. Now, the issue I have isn't exactly with Bret Hart. It's the way the fans discredit him and try to make him seem like a never was, as opposed to one of the best wrestlers of all time. I've seen a lot of people trash him. They're like, he sucks. He was never good. And I'm like, bro, come on. Stop being like this. And this is the problem that people have on the internet. They can't separate in a bad opinion from this. I think Mark Henry's takes are some of the worst on the internet. I'm not going to disregard the Hall of Pain run magically. Oh, because you said this, I magically don't like his run. That's what people do nowadays. And the reason why I made this video is just to point out that you can disagree with the wrestlers. You don't have to agree with them, glaze them 200%. But at the same time, you can't discredit their ability because of stuff you disagree with. Because that's nonsensical. It's absolutely stupid. And it's like, bro, have you ever taken criticism in your life before? Me personally, I have my own channel. People trash my videos. Sometimes there's valid criticism. And obviously it might hurt your ego a little bit, but said person might not be wrong. And I feel like a lot of these people are more offended than Sheamus. Like, bro, come on. Sheamus had a great career. He has great matches, still has great matches to this very day. For the other people, if they're pressed about MJF, Bret Hart doesn't even know anything about modern day wrestling. He doesn't really care. He said Gunther's chops are annoying, even though they're a part of his arsenal. And again, you could disagree with him in that regard because chops have been a thing since a long time. Ric Flair used to hit them, Chris Benoit used to hit them, and he obviously doesn't like it, but it doesn't mean we're going to discredit everything he says. Is he bitter? Yes. We're not going to lie about that. Just watching that interview, he wasn't that positive, if we're being honest. He wasn't. But he just doesn't like modern wrestling, and that's something a lot of the older wrestlers have an issue with. And every single time they talk about the selling and stuff, the fans get pressed, and I'm like, bro, it's a real problem. Let's not lie to ourselves and act like the selling in professional wrestling, not just in AEW, isn't a problem. It is. Like, there's too many near falls for the sake of it. There's these false finishes, and it feels like they're trying so hard to make a good performance as opposed to a good fight. Like, I know wrestling's fake, but can you make it as real as possible? Like, yeah, I know the Irish whip isn't exactly realistic, or the catapult, but bro, those are the exceptions. We don't have to make everything the exception. But as it relates to that interview, it's funny because you see Bret Hart complain front and center for an hour and a half. He isn't all negative there, obviously, but it's just funny because those are the parts that stick out. There's this one point when they talked about Montreal again, and he was starting to talk about how Vince and Shawn were lovers, and I was laughing because he does not care. He does not give a damn about what he says and how, especially how he says it. Like, I just don't really like how people on the internet discredit a whole wrestler because of something they said. Why you pressed he doesn't like Sheamus's punches? Like, yeah, he's a bit rude and stuff like that, but punches are a big issue in the wrestling world nowadays. People don't sell the punches as well. And another thing, to be an old head for a moment, they don't maximize the small things, because if you maximize the small things, you don't have to go absolutely insane in your match. You guys remember how Austin used to hit those strikes and Rock would be like, ooh, 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 instead of doing the freaking back and forth punch thing? You don't need to do that all the time. And I just wanted to make this video to yap a little about the Bret Hart thing. A lot of people were angry with it, and I'm like, bro, come on. Who gives a damn? We know Bret Hart doesn't exactly like modern day wrestling, and some of his complaints are actually valid. But no, he said this, he said this. I know he's bitter. I know he's angry at times. But does that mean he's entirely wrong? No, he's not. I'm not going to be glazing him or something like that. I do think he's one of the best wrestlers ever, but when I see people discredit his own ability, they're like, he wasn't good to begin with. I'm like, bro, can I actually take you serious in a discussion? Because listen, let's just put it this way. There's a lot of wrestlers you might say are great talent, but you necessarily don't like them. You don't have to discredit them, but you can acknowledge their talent. People don't know that. They just know this guy, he said something bad, his opinion, that's it, he's a bad wrestler. They just do this all the time. I see it with Bully Ray. I see it with Mark Henry. Like, yeah, you might not like some of their stuff in their careers, but they were major parts of either the tag team division or the PG era. You can't just discredit them as never was. They do this all the time, and I just never understood it. It's like, bro, we could see with our own eyes that these guys actually achieved a lot in their careers. When I saw it with Bret Hart, I almost felt actually offended because this is a guy who's actually considered one of the very best wrestlers ever, and just randomly discredit him because he said Sheamus's punches are bad. Are Sheamus's punches bad? Probably, but he isn't wrong with the whole general argument about punches being weak nowadays. It just... nuance. People don't understand nuance. They don't understand logic. And it's a big problem in the wrestling community. Like, for example, Jey Uso. Do I think Jey Uso sucks? Yes. Of course. I won't talk about him as a person, and I'm just talking strictly about his in-ring work. People know they can't separate the two. I remember they used to personally hate Roman Reigns in 2016. Like, if I'm handed this push, I'm taking it. I don't give a damn. I'm gonna become the richest wrestler in the company. I'm gonna become one of the most famous wrestlers in the company. Why would I decline that kind of push? And they actually took it personally that Roman Reigns would accept a push like that back then. But yeah, internet's cooked. I don't think Bret Hart was necessarily wrong, but I do think he is rude with the way he conveys his message. He doesn't exactly pat you on the back. He just slaps you like, bah! He's one of the older guys, so you can't exactly change him. You know, you're gonna be like, oh, tell these wrestlers softly, oh, they could get better. He doesn't give a damn, you know? He's just going straight forward. He's from the Hart family. You think the Hart family are all about being soft? That family's been through so much. You expect Bret Hart to be all comfy. Well, I might not like the punches, but it's okay. Hell no, he's gonna be straight up blunt with you. He is rude. I acknowledge that, but that's Bret Hart. It ain't gonna be Bret Hart if he's not rude and blunt. And if they don't talk about Montreal or Goldberg in the interview, it's not a Bret Hart interview. So yeah. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know I did. Peace. I'm out.